Last week, I designed the wiring harness for my electric motorcycle project, and I realised I don't actually have all the components I need fitted to my bike to make the wiring harness. So for the last week, I've been searching down, tracking and buying all of the bits I need to get this bike roadworthy. And well, that's this lot in these boxes here. So while I'm putting my bike back together, I'll talk about a few myths there are around MOT tests. And of course, I will talk about daylight MOTs. This is an electronic throttle which is needed to send the signals to the motor controller, which is here under the seat on my bike. One myth is, do you need indicators on a motorcycle? Well, yes and no. If they're fitted to the bike, they have to be working. So, if you've got the switch on the handlebars or you've got indicator bulbs and holders fitted, then they have to actually work. But if there is no indicators fitted, and most importantly no switches fitted on the bars, then they're not present at MOT and they can't be tested at the time of a test. They can't be failed because they're not there to be tested. So in theory, no, you don't need indicators, because if they're not there, they can't be tested. And that whole theory of an item not being there to be tested at MOT is very evident when we start talking about daytime MOTs. Also, indicators have to be 30 centimeters apart or more so you can distinguish which one is left and which one is right. So this is my dash for the battery information. I'm temporarily going to run two dashes, one for the battery, one for the bike parts. This will have battery voltage, battery temperature and battery percentage on it. But talking of electric bikes, another big thing that's not going to be an issue for me is noise, but it is a really big and misunderstood area of MOT testing. So there's actually not a decibel limit for MOT tests. This is because they don't want to have to supply or use decibel meters inside an MOT test station. But this doesn't mean that they can't fail your bike if they think it's too loud. There's actually a law brought out in the 80s that said a bike being sold new had to have a decibel reading of less than 82, and this has actually dropped over the years and is now somewhere in the low 70s. And that also means that a motorcycle mechanic cannot fit an aftermarket exhaust for road use that is above this decibel reading. This is why you'll find most aftermarket exhausts will be stamped with for off-road or race use only. They've only sent me 3 rotor bolts, so 3 is all we'll hold it on for now. Well, while I'm fitting lights, it's definitely a good time to talk about daylight MOTs. And let's start by saying there is no such thing as a daylight MOT. What people refer to when they talk about these is they get a bike MOT'd with no lights. Basically so it can only be ridden during the day. But the big misunderstanding is people think they need a specific MOT for a bike that can only be ridden in the daytime, but that's not the truth. It's still the same MOT. But like we said earlier with the indicators, an MOT tester can only test what is present. So if you take a bike for test and it doesn't have a headlight, indicators, rear light, or any of the switches on the handlebars to control them, they can't be tested, so the bike cannot be failed because they're not there to be tested. But it doesn't mean the bike is legal to ride all the time. It's only legal to ride them when they're not needed on the road. I think it all boils down to the fact people think an MOT test is like a legality test, but it's not, it's a safety test. It's a test to check what you've got there is safe. That is it. Doesn't mean your bike or car is going to run well for the next year. It doesn't mean that it's legal to ride on the road. It's just a safety test, so you're not going to cause yourself or other drivers harm. And that's where this daylight MOT comes from. That bike is still legal to ride during the day. It's not legal to ride during the night, but that is not what the test is specifying. It's giving you an MOT to say it's safe. So to round it all up, to get an MOT to ride your bike just during the day, you don't need a headlight, high or low beam, but you can also not have the switches on the bars for a headlight. Also, no indicators, and you can't have the switches on the handlebars. You do definitely need a horn, you do definitely need a reflector, and the other one, which I see a lot of conflicting information about, is a brake light. Some people say you do need a brake light, some people say you don't. So if you do know, please leave us a comment and let me know. But like with any project, when you think you're ticking jobs off the list, in fact you're just uncovering more and creating more things to do. So more bits to order, more jobs to do, which I'm sure we'll do next time.